or
Yeah. How's
really? Okay. I feel like I'm doing one of those like ASMR videos where I'm like, yeah, we're just gonna eat like pickles or
Oh
something.
God, do you have TikTok?
I don't.
Okay,
I
don't get it then. Just don't
okay,
get it.
I know that I'm like not a good human to have TikTok just because I know I'd waste my whole life on it. But
Yeah.
like I'm fascinated by it. So.
Well, every once in a while I'll just be scrolling through TikTok and there's
Yeah.
just this girl. It's usually a female.
Yeah.
And they'll have like a piece of saran wrap over the mic and they're like, tip of the tongue, tip of the tongue, tip of the tongue. What is going on
and like
right now?
people are into this,
They're
right?
hardcore into it.
People are
I
probably
think in
making
some of the
money off
weird
this.
ways as
Yeah,
well. Like
yeah.
they're not just like, oh, this is interesting.
They're like, hey,
That's cool. Can I buy your bath water?
yeah.
That's what I think.
Oh my God, I love that.
Okay, so super informal.
Okay, yeah.
What I was thinking today was more so just getting to know you.
Yeah, I love that.
Like I know just how passionate your community is, like
Yeah,
the whole Lost
yeah,
Cycle community.
yeah.
When we posted that podcast, Jess and I.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Well, first off, you are adorable.
I
But then
loved it.
A lot of your clients, a lot of your members were like reaching out to us and like, oh, thank you so much. Courtney's the best.
Oh my God.
And I'm like,
yeah.
I need to learn more about this Courtney person.
I was honored when you asked me. I was like probably playing it cool and being like, yeah, sure, I'll do the podcast. But at home, I was like in my mirror today, like, woo, you
getting
know,
hyped up.
getting ready. I love that. Yeah, it was so great. It was such a great episode. I like cried pretty much the whole time in
Oh,
it. Just
stop it.
hearing other people like talk about your brand, it's just like, oh, like my child, you know.
Yeah.
So
It is.
it's cool.
And that's one thing that never gets old. And I think, I mean, we hear it, I'm sure you hear it all the time, right? Like, oh,
Yeah.
we love Lost or we love movements or whatever. But when you hear it from people who aren't necessarily like a part of your community.
Yeah.
Or I bought my wife, it was Valentine's Day yesterday.
Yes.
And my wife is pregnant for
oh,
her first
congratulations.
baby. Thank you. So she wanted like this shirt that said like Mama established 2022.
Yeah.
So some lady on Facebook was like making them. So I reached out to her and she's like, oh, you own Movement Strength. I've heard such good things about your gym.
Oh my
and
God,
I'm like,
I love that.
oh, it's just the best. Right?
Yes, it makes you feel like low-key celebrity, like London, Ontario celebrity.
You walk around with your chest a little bit higher.
Yeah, it's like H-list celebrity, but like you just are like, oh, you know it. It's just, there was such a long time when I'd say Lost Cycle and people were like, what's that? Like, do you sell bikes? And like, you know, and then explaining and then having to explain what rhythm riding is. So now when someone's like, I've heard of that or I've been there or my friend goes there, I'm like, fuck yeah. Can I swear on this?
You can do whatever you want.
All right. Sick.
So when someone does ask you, like, what is Lost Cycle, how do you usually explain it?
Yeah. Well, I start by saying we're just indoor rhythm riding, and usually people are like, don't know what that is. So
they're like, yeah, cool.
They're like, okay. So I often have to explain that it's stationary bikes, which sounds ludicrous that I'd have to explain, but I usually just say stationary bikes and like a club environment. I was like loud music, like pulsating loud club music, and low lighting, and just this environment that you can just dive right into. Is kind of the basics of it.
And how long have you guys been around for?
We started, we opened our doors August 12th of 2019. So we were open for 6 months. We had just celebrated 6 months right before COVID.
Okay. Wow. And then you've had the past 2 years of
just a friggin'
great time.
Fun time. Yeah.
But Thursday
we're like back to reality, you know? Like Thursday feels monumental yet again, I guess, for all of us.
But I think what's really cool, and just like a sentiment to the great work you've done, is just how much your community has backed you during the past 2 years.
That honestly, that's the best part. The most unexpected part, I'm sure for most gyms right now, is seeing like the army of people that just like stood behind you and are like, you're closed? Okay, we'll be there when you open again. You're closed again, we'll be there again. And it's like, wow, these people keep coming back. So it gives you that validation that like, we must be doing something fucking right here.
Yeah. Or like, oh, I want to buy your apparel, or I'll get a gift card for when I'm back. Like I'll buy a month's pass or whatever it is. It's really cool.
It's like you can't replace that feeling, I don't think. I don't know how you would. It's just so cool to be like, someone believes in this enough that they want to represent our name. They want to be a part of this. And that's so cool.
So we were, not that we were going to talk about it upstairs, but you mentioned that, you're from London, but you were spending some time in Toronto, and I kind of want to get to the point of like what made you start Lost Cycle.
Yeah, like how did I get here?
The origin story.
Yeah.
The Marvel origin story of Courtney
Yeah,
and Lost
I'm going to
Cycle.
try to like summarize it.
Be long-winded.
Less.
Take as much time as you want.
Well, 1987, Calgary, Alberta. I was born in Calgary, Alberta. My family moved to London when I was 3 years old. So I grew up here, went to Saunders Secondary School.
Shout out Saunders.
Go Sabres. People are probably like, that school is dangerous. I'm like, it kind of was at the time, but it made us cool, it made us look badass. And then I went to Laurier for university. So I left London for a little bit, came back, and then I decided that I wanted to like see the world and get out, and adios to my parents for a bit. So I left for Australia for a full year, and
Nice.
I did Southeast Asia, backpacker, Fiji, did it all, lived the dream, surfed, served in little cafes. I loved it.
How long were you gone?
Almost a full year to the date that I left London.
What was your favorite? Because we need to talk about it a little bit. What was your favorite part of Southeast Asia?
Oh man. I mean, Bangkok is crazy.
Yeah.
Bangkok is crazy. Like, Bangkok is everything that people hype it up to be. It's just like, that is what it is.
Yeah.
You could disappear in Bangkok and like no one would ever see you again.
Yeah.
Which makes it exciting. But my favorite place was probably within Southeast Asia, I would say I loved Vietnam. I loved Cambodia. Really cool places. I mean, it's hard to pick a favorite.
Yeah.
I also ended my trip in Fiji, and Fiji was like
Gorgeous.
Unreal. I went by myself at the time, so I was on this island that was like primarily couples, and it was very much a forgetting Sarah Marshall situation. They asked me like 10 times where my husband was, and I was like 26 years old. I was like, what the fuck? What do you mean husband? Like, where's the party at? And it was kind of funny because they ended up comping my breakfast the whole trip.
Really?
It was like,
oh, this poor girl.
Yeah, they're like this sad loser, So yeah, I got hooked up there. So it was fun. It was a great trip. Came back. I was like, what do I want to do with my life? Like many people, was like, I need a bigger city. So I took off to Toronto. And I lived in my friend's living room for like the first 2 years there. So I worked in a bridal salon for my first job there. I think making like $13 an hour, which I thought was like lit at the time.
Ballin'.
Yeah, it was like drinks on me, guys. But yeah, I did that for a little bit, and it was really fun. I ended up working at Kleinfeld Bridal.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, as a proper like bridal consultant. I sold like a lot of wedding dresses in my day, and it was great money. It was a cool industry.
Yeah.
There's a lot of money in the wedding industry, but ultimately it just wasn't like fueling my soul. So I got connected to this girl who was opening a rhythm riding spin studio. I had no idea what it was, and it was like a million degrees of separation, but we got connected, and I had just recently got my spin certification. So I was like, maybe I can do something with this.
Yeah.
So I tried it out, and I loved it. I thought it was so scary, but so cool. I was like, man, I love to dance. This is like loud music, but it's on a bike. So that just took off, and I worked for Spoke House, was the studio that's still around. They're awesome. Everyone has to go visit them in Toronto.
They have multiple locations in Toronto? Or?
One location right now. I'm sure they'll expand. They're in City Place. They're so dope there. They're awesome. I worked there for a good like 3 years, and then got this idea to come to London, and I wanted to come back here somehow, but I wanted to stay in fitness. And I'm sure, as you know, like working in the fitness industry, you gotta like figure that shit out, It's not just gonna like be handed to you, I should say. So I pushed Spoke House to do a pop-up here, and we looked into it, and we looked at everything of what it would take to do that here. And then they ended up not wanting to do it in the end. So
is this like 2018-ish?
Yeah. So I was like, oh man, I've done all this like work to look into London, to look at locations. Like, I really want to do this, and I have more information. And my boyfriend at the time, now husband, was like, why don't you just do it yourself?
Oh, that's cool.
And I was like, I don't know, like that seems crazy. Like, I don't know if I could do that. And then I thought about it like maybe 2 days, because I'm an Aries, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. And then, you know, it quickly became like drafting up ideas, and
that's cool. That's cool.
Jumped right in, and then arrived here in 2019, back in 2019. And
so when you, so Spoke House, that's what it's called?
Spoke House is where I worked in Toronto, yeah.
So did you ever do a spin class before Spoke House? Because I know, so
No.
Spoke House is rhythm riding as well,
Yeah,
right?
they are,
Did you do like traditional spin classes in the past?
I had taken traditional spin classes, and I liked them, but like, I hated that they were just so A to B, and there was like, I was always staring at the clock, and I was like, oh my God, like I need to get through this 40-minute class.
Yeah.
And then rhythm riding, I was like, whoa, like music is the star of the show here. Like, this is what it's all about. We put these lists together with like my favorite songs that I want to show people. And it's like we're dancing, but we're on a bike and we're not focused on the time.
Yeah.
It just became this like, I don't know, like saved me, not to be dramatic.
No, that's cool.
It like
That's cool.
saved me.
So was it like how did you go about going to your first Spoke House class? Was it like a friend of yours went and they're like, yo, you got to check out this place?
I was actually
Were you
with
walking
them.
by?
Yeah, I was with them from like the ground up. So I met the former owner, Christine, before they were even a thing yet. Like they were still hiring, and the building was under construction and everything. But I had been working at Kleinfeld for almost a couple years. I had lost my mom when I started at Kleinfeld, so I felt very like lost in a sense, and knew that I needed to make a change. I wanted to find something that I could wake up every day and like fall in love with. And the class I did was actually just riding one-on-one with the owner.
Oh.
Us looking in a mirror, she's like killing it beside me, and I'm trying to like keep up, and I was like, no problem, I could teach this. And I leave and I'm like, oh, like I gotta work.
Yeah. Were you always someone that was into fitness? Like I know you mentioned before we started that you have a little bit of a dance background.
Yeah, I danced for years, not like competitively, and I loved it. I was awful at team sports. Like in elementary school, I was on the B basketball team, which I learned was like everyone else who didn't make the team. Yeah. But I rocked that B team, you know? Yeah. I've always been into sports, but like more individualized fitness. So I was a runner for years. I ran from basically 2005 till 2012-ish. I was a hardcore runner.
Like marathons, half marathons,
half
5Ks.
marathons, 30K. 30K was the max I did. But yeah, I loved it. But I kept getting injured, and I needed to find something that was intense but not as joint bearing, you know? So I found my way into cycling, and then made that competitive by doing races, and then eventually found a way to make it more lifestyle, I guess.
Yeah. So you start up Lost Cycle, or you have the idea for Lost in 2019. Yeah. The name. I know you kind of you hinted at the name or the reason for it, but
the name is actually, the name's kind of funny. It has like a little bit of a backstory in that it wasn't its first name. The first name that, I'm so embarrassed I'm actually going to admit this, but you know what? YOLO. It's 2022. The first name I picked was actually Fire Cycle, like Fyre.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so I picked this name after like so many names, and I land on this because I loved the aesthetics of like an F. I was like, ooh, that just like looks good. Yeah. So I buy the domain name. I still own firecycle.com, by the way. That. If anyone wants it out there, you know, like I
$100,000.
We'll have a bidding war for Fire Cycle. I buy this domain. I'm so excited about it. I'm like about to announce it to my friends that like I figured out my name, and then that documentary comes out on Netflix like literally 2 days later, and it's like Fire Cycle all about, or Fire Festival, sorry, all about that festival. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have to change the name.
It was a big scam for everybody who doesn't,
doesn't
know.
This festival that never happened. Yeah. I think it was all Ja Rule's fault. But
that's all I got from the documentary.
So I realized I had to change the name. So I was like pretty bummed about that, but it made sense. And my heart wasn't in it. I was like, something tells me that this is a sign. So I had talked to a branding specialist, and we were on the phone one day, and I was like, I really need help with the name. Like, it means so much to me, but I can't come up with what to call us. And he was like, tell me about your brand. I'm like, well, the idea is that you're in this room, you're cycling, and the environment just creates this space that you can get lost in. Like, you're like lost in the music and this whole rhythm of it. And I'm like going on, and he's like, yeah, I think you just said the name of your studio. And I was like, well, what did I say? And he's like, you'll figure it out. Like, call me tomorrow and tell me what the name of your studio is. I was like, okay. And I got off that call.
Is this Yoda?
Right? I know. I was like, whoa, this profound man.
Wow, holy cow.
But I did call him back, and I was like, Lost Cycle. He's like, yeah. I wondered, though, if that was what he was thinking of. Or
yeah,
he was just like,
yeah, that's actually way better than what I thought.
Yeah, I was just going to say, yeah. So, yeah, that's how we ended up with Lost Cycle, which I love our name. I love our name so much.
It's a great and your branding. Like,
thank you.
Do you do all of that stuff on your own?
I do all of it.
And like your t-shirts and your swag?
Yeah, I do all our merch. I get ideas. Some of my staff give me awesome ideas that I'll run with. And sometimes I just have to sit there and kind of like play around with fonts and inspiration. So usually I have like an inspiration for each merch drop. So like in the summer we did like a camp edition. So we had like baseball tees and like camp style t-shirts. And I wanted to reflect that like nostalgic summer vibe.
Yeah.
But Lost Cycle edition.
Yeah.
I don't know that everyone knows that I put that much thought into it,
it's
but
good though.
It's fun.
Just from like the outside looking in, I always appreciate when I see like people on top of their merch because I am not on top of our merch. So I'm like,
it's hard to be.
Courtney
That's cool merch though. That's a cool hat.
I tried. Do you know how long this took to do?
Like,
it's
what could we do?
I know. Just put the M.
Yeah. Honestly, sometimes the simplest stuff is what makes sense.
Yeah.
I find that when you spend hours and hours trying to like make all this detailed stuff, often like throw your name on it, like that's what people want.
Yeah.
They're not like looking for the coolest design. They're like, you're really good at teaching classes. Like, put your logo on, I'll buy it.
It's true. I remember before, like when we first started, I was thinking like, okay, I want people to wear our swag to go out or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, people don't wear gym stuff to go out. Like they wear gym stuff to go to the gym or like to go to their friend's house or stuff like that. So like that kind of changed my views on I find I buy more materials that I would use for like hanging out and kind of thing versus like actually riding in our gear. But that's because I find like to actually ride in gear, it's so specific, right? Like people have such a niche to what they like to wear. Even across my team, we all love different Lulu stuff. So it's like, okay, well, we couldn't possibly carry it because we'd all have different opinions. So That's fair.
Yeah.
So okay, so you work at Spoke House. You obviously have a feeling for like what that culture is like.
Yeah.
When you started Lost, I know that's probably something that's super important to you is like the culture of how it's going to feel when like people walk in, when people join their classes. What was sort of like your inspiration around that? Like how do you want people to feel while they're riding or when they're done with you guys?
Oh, that's a great question. I love that. I think I thought of it more in the sense of like people feeling like they belonged. I wanted to make sure that, because there's always going to be people that are seemingly stronger on the bike than others. And I talk about this a lot in my classes, that we're often looking at people thinking like, wow, they're like so strong on the bike, but it really is that they might have just had more time on the bike than you. They might have been doing it a little bit longer. Like it's a natural that they would be maybe a little leveled up on it because they've had that time. So I wanted to make sure that when people came in, no matter if it's like first class, 100th class, whatever it is, they're going to get that same experience and that same like welcoming vibe, that it's not that you have to be like rider 100 to get treated like a VIP. So I kind of made it my like mission that we would always acknowledge everyone, which goes into the details of like, we put people's names out on a list when they come in. Like we see these names, we put a name to a face. I want to remember these people so that they know that they're important to me, because they are. These people are. And it's always just been my goal to make sure that no one feels like they don't belong there.
Yeah, and I think you've nailed that.
Thank you.
You totally have. Like I remember, I've said this about Lululemon as well, where like Lululemon, you walk in there, and it's like, if you can think of high school, I feel more so like when we were in high school. I think it's different now. But like how you have like you have the cool kids sitting in the cafeteria.
Yes.
And when I walk into Lulu, I'm like, wow, these are the cool kids sitting in the cafeteria. But the difference is, I feel like I'm actually invited to sit at the table with them. And that's the same thing with Lost, where it's like, man, I walk in there, I'm like, oh man, everyone's so like cool and awesome, and like I feel like I'm a part of this community now.
You are.
It was really cool.
Thank you. I love, like, that's always what I hope to hear from people, because I think it's also too, if I have to like root it back, if I go back to 1987 again, in my childhood, I think we've all had that experience of wanting to be part of something and maybe not feeling like you made the cut. Holla B team.
I was just going to say, basketball B team. Is this what you're getting back to?
This is actually where it all roots back to. Oh my God. I'm going to have to call my therapist.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
We got bigger things to talk about. I think we all know that feeling, and that feeling is so important to me, to make sure that like I can assist with, because I don't want people to like come in and see that like people are stuck up or they feel like they're better than others, because it's like, no, I don't think I'm better than anyone, and I know they don't either. So I always wanted to be like, hey, like, you're part of this, like, you're instantly part of this. And it's kind of like comical at Lost, because we do learn people's names really quickly, and I think it can kind of weird people out too. Because we're like, hey, Sarah. They're like, it's my second ride. How does she know my name? You know? So
it's funny. So we have like a texting platform here when people first join. So every once in a while, like, I'll see every single name that pops through on our text messages. So someone will pop in, and they literally just texted us 10 minutes ago. I'm like, is that Sasha? And she's like, this is really weird. Like, I literally just texted you.
Like, are you stalking me? I love that, though.
But what's funny, too, is like, okay, so I'm sure it starts by instilling that culture with your staff, which you've obviously done a great job. But it's cool how it bleeds down to your members as well. When I did a class there, after my class, I mean, it was quite obvious that it was probably my first class. And afterwards, I had a bunch of your members come up to me, and they're like, oh, you guys killed it. You did so well. And they didn't know who we were, right? They didn't know that we were going to talk about our experience. It was just cool that like that is so much a part of the culture that even not just your staff, but your members are doing that as well.
When I heard that, I believe it was Madison and Aaron. When I heard that, as soon as I heard that, I was like, I know exactly who that's going to be.
Yeah.
And it made me so happy to hear it, because it is so much of like our culture. Like, we watch out for each other. I'll see new riders coming in, and like riders who've been there forever helping the new riders set up their bikes. And I'm like, this is awesome. Like, yes, help them. Like, that's what it's all about. So I love that they welcomed you guys as well.
Oh, are you doing the next class? I'm like, I'm good.
You're like, I'm a head out. You know?
I need to hydrate.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Because at the end of the day, fitness is scary. To walk into any gym, it's scary. You know, like if I came in here by myself, I'd be like, whoa, you know, and like it's eye opening, and you always feel like everyone's watching you, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know, like for hyperactive people like myself too, I'd be like, where do I put my things? You know, where's the water fountain? It can be a lot. So we try to make that whole process like easy. When people come in, we show them around, we point everything out, and we try to make it like instant comfort if we can.
I was going to say, because I think just for you and I to jam on more business related is like, you know, I think we have facilities that can seem intimidating for people on the outside, right?
Sure.
Like there's going to be a spin class with a lot of people who know what they're doing. There's going to be a big gym with strong individuals who are going to have their shirts off and are lifting 900 pounds.
Yeah, totally. That's scary.
Right? How do you sort of, I guess, get the word across to interested parties that, you know, this isn't an intimidating place. We are super friendly.
I think part of that is what we show of ourselves, really. And like, my staff are all so great about, maintaining that vibe we have of like, you're welcome here, and it doesn't matter what any of us look like or what experience or baggage we might be coming in with. Like, you belong here. And I think that we try to showcase more of our community. And so when they take sick photos, we're like, send me that photo. I want to post it on Lost. So we want them to know that like, you're a part of this. Like, you're what creates us as Lost. So I think by trying to like make it all about the community and not just us as staff, it allows people to see like, hey, like there's people that go to that class that look just like me, you know? So it's and cool. We're trying to make that more diverse, you know, each day that we can.
Yeah. When I was there, I forget what it says, but there's like this brick little wall that you guys have with sticky notes.
Yes, yeah.
Tell me about that.
So you know what? I'm not even really sure how it started. I think one of my staff might have started it, and they wrote like a little inspirational quote, like "You got this" or something, and put it on the wall. And then we started adding more, and then I would come back to the studio each day, and there'd be more and more and more of these Post-it notes. And I asked some of my staff, I'm like, "Have you guys been putting these up?" And they're like, "No, these are from riders." So other riders were just putting these like inspirational messages up on our board, which was really cool and like not planned at all. It was kind of like, let's just put this Post-it out here. So I wish it could be more intentional, but
no, it's cool. Is there did you write something saying take one if you need one, or take a
there was, so one of our riders, Annie, who we love, she brought us all Korean face masks, which are like, woo, Wednesday night, like, you know, pajamas are on at 5:30 p.m. You put a Korean face mask on and you're just like living your best life, you know? Okay. So she also had these little like pop out like inspirational quotes and messages. So it would say like take one. Yeah. And then the idea was that you could like take one of those and then maybe like leave an inspirational quote. Okay. But this all just started like within our community.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
You fostered that. You created it.
By buying Post-it notes from Staples, I manifested this.
Thank you, 3M. That's amazing.
Oh, so true.
What's cool too is like, okay, so you guys started in, did you say August of 2019?
Yeah.
So August of 2019,
like forever ago.
You had like 6 months of normal. Yeah. And, you know, then you had to go through what we went through over the past 2 years. And you had the support of your peoples, which was great. But like, think of how exciting it is to get back to like this normal where you can have a full studio again and like do community outings. Like it's only going to get better.
I know, I'm really excited about it. Like I'm super pumped. I know that like there's a lot of mixed feelings with it for people, but I'm really focusing on like this is what we know is happening.
Absolutely.
And like onwards and upwards, you know? And I love the idea that there's so much more room for growth now. Yeah. We don't have to like encourage people to hop on wait lists for every single class. Like it's a good problem for us to have, but ultimately we want to get people in the door. So having those extra bikes now is going to change the game for us a little.
So how many bikes are?
We have 25 right now. Nice. And then my hope would be that if I can expand, I would love to have a second location with maybe like 40 bikes, maybe more. That's cool. Who knows?
Okay, so I just have some general questions about the bike that it's literally I don't know, I don't understand sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I'm riding, and you're like, all right, everybody, turn the knob. How much do I turn the knob? Because when you say one, I'm like, is it like a one full thing? Is it like a little twist?
That's a great question. And I think like that differs amongst our staff a little bit, but usually we do explain at the beginning, like, I say like quarter turn. So like baby adds, maybe even less than a quarter sometimes. But really, Isaac, it's like your journey, you know? It's your journey, not ours.
It's my world. You're just living in it.
Yeah. So really, the idea is that you want to keep pace with the instructor. So if you're in a heavy climb that's like a 1, 2, 1, 2, you want to have that tension heavy so that you can match the instructor and it feel difficult to keep that beat. But when you're starting out, you're like, what do I do? And like, you'll see someone that's way quicker than you. And you're like, come on, add in, you Isaac, add in, you know? Yeah.
Oh man. I remember cause, when I was going to the class, I was like, this is insane.
Yeah.
You guys are nuts.
It really is. Yeah.
But what's so cool is I look around and it was like a packed class, obviously, and everyone's just killing it.
Yeah.
Like everybody.
People kill it. People kill it.
It's a lot of fun.
And there's so much room to grow with it. Like, I think that's cardio gets a bad rep sometimes because people are like, oh, you're just riding to nowhere. Like, what are the benefits? But with rhythm riding, like, maybe you can hold a sprint for 10 seconds, or maybe that increases to like 20 and then 30, or maybe your goal is to just like be able to do some of the fun choreography. Maybe it's to just make it through an entire class. You know, there's so much room to grow with it, and I love that. And everyone's kind of working on their own thing. Yeah. So, but together. Yeah. So it's cool.
I mean, I think that's the big thing too, is it's like there's not one type of fitness for one person, right? Some people absolutely love spin and rhythm riding. Perfect. Yeah. Some people would rather go lift weights. Perfect. But I think what's cool, and you know, the ultimate goal for like me and where I want to get people to is that they can use their fitness in different types of expressions. So it's like, I have the ability to go to a gym. I have the ability to go to Lost Cycle, to go rock climbing, to do CTC obstacles, to go do dance. Like just to express our fitness, I think is such a cool option.
I love that. I am so pro trying everything. If like ultimately my dream is that like people find something they love, and it doesn't necessarily have to be Lost Cycle. I'm biased in that I would love for it to be Lost Cycle, but I get that everyone has those things they love, the way like movement with music lights me up. Yeah. You know, I want everyone to find that. So I'm totally like, you should try this or you should try that. I'm always down when I travel. I try to go to a new gym or like a new studio and just see what they're all about, because it's so fun.
It is. It really is. Okay, so I got some rapid fire questions.
Love it. Does that mean I have to answer really quickly?
Well, yes and no.
Oh, I'm going to start sweating. Okay.
Take your time. Take your time. I'm going to load it up here. Favorite food place to go to in London?
Ooh,
AKA
I love
restaurant,
it.
not food place.
Food place. Okay, restaurant. Oh man, I have to pick one.
We'll do top 3.
Okay, top 3, I would say I love Through Thick and Thin. Love it. Love Dimmy's. Yep. So good. And I mean, we're frequent flyers of Shelby's. I love Shelby's.
I've never had Shelby's.
Oh my gosh, so good.
Do they have just one, or do they have a few locations now?
They have a whole bunch. So good. Amazing service.
Is it like shawarma?
Shawarma, yeah. Okay. And this is like an important detail, is their ratio of like sauce to ingredients. Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Flawless.
So what would you get at Shelby's?
I get like a chicken shawarma wrap. Okay. And then we often get fries. Yep. And they have like this whipped garlic. Oh. It's just unreal. It's so good. Yeah. Gotta go.
Smell like a flower afterwards.
Yeah, your car will reek like spices, but in the best way.
Yeah, that's great. Your favorite Amazon purchase under $100, and then we'll add in a favorite AliExpress purchase under $50.
I gotta pick a favorite AliExpress purchase.
That's custom for you, but Amazon purchase under $100.
Amazon purchase under $100. Okay, that's tough. That's a good question. Yeah. Under $100. I want to say maybe the Aztec clay face mask. Oh. I feel like the female market will know this one a little bit, but it's like this clay mask, and it comes in a huge tub that will last you like the rest of your life, and it's like super cheap, and you put it on your face, and it feels like cement drying on your face.
Sounds good.
It physically hurts to smile when you wear this mask, but you like feel like everything's just being pulled out of your skin, and it's awesome.
So what's it called?
It's called Aztec clay.
Okay, Aztec clay.
And it's a good purchase. The first time you use it, you're like, I think I might be in danger, but like afterwards you're like, but I feel so pure. Okay. And it's cheap, and it'll last you forever. Okay. That's the first thing that came to my mind.
Hey, that's okay. AliExpress purchase under $50.
It'll be really boring, but like one of my favorite purchases was like a purse I got that I loved. Okay. But maybe I would have to say wedding veil. Wedding veil, AliExpress.
That's a pretty big purchase.
I'm just a regular girl, you know.
Just a small town
living
girl.
in an AliExpress world.
That's it. This is just a gimme question. Okay. Strength or cardio?
Oh, you know what? I love strength.
Okay.
I think if I had to choose, it depends on like the vibe I'm in for the day. I really got into strength training over like COVID times being at home, and I love to pick up weights.
Okay.
But I would say if I'm needing a workout to just like feed my soul, it's got to be cardio.
Yeah. Okay. Love it. Favorite snack? We'll go healthy and then unhealthy.
Okay. Well, I consider everything on the same playing field now.
Yep.
I kind of look at it as like, what food is going to taste great and not make me shit my pants later, you know? Like that's kind of the ratio I work with. So I would say like my favorite like healthier snack per se is, I love popcorn. I love like rice cakes and peanut butter, stuff like that. That would be like commercially seen as healthy. Sure. And then I guess not so great for you snack would be like cheese and meats and like not great for me. I say.
I was just gonna say like, that's okay.
They're great, but like not for me. And like a good charcuterie board. Ooh, I love.
Yeah.
But my body doesn't love too much.
That's the shit your pants.
Yeah, that's a shit your pants ratio.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Coffee or tea?
Coffee all the way. Who's saying tea? Let's hunt them down.
I just like losers.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
If that's you, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But seriously, come
on. We need coffee.
We do.
We own businesses.
Yeah, it's the lifeblood.
Yeah.
What is the most gifted book that you've given people?
Ooh.
And if like you're not necessarily one to gift books, what would be the one book that's had like the biggest impact on you?
Great question, and actually a pretty easy answer. I love this book called A House in the Sky. I can't think of the author, but she's from Alberta. And it's all about how she was kidnapped, and I believe it's been so long since I've read this book, but I want to say it was in Somalia. But she goes on this whole journey of like her entire captivity and how she gets out, and it's just the most exhilarating book, and it's emotional, and it's such a journey, and it's so interesting. She was a journalist and got kidnapped, and it is just such a fascinating story, but so inspiring in so many ways. And it just had such an impact on me. I was like, wow, like this person could go through this and like come out of the other side and be, ready to conquer the world. And I loved that. So that's always like the first book. I'm like, you got to read House in the Sky.
It's cool. Awesome.
It's excellent.
And the last question is, what are you currently watching on Netflix?
Oh, I just finished Love is Blind.
Oh, okay. So my wife and I, Caitlin.
So good.
We just started watching it yesterday.
Okay, yes.
Okay.
We could have a whole separate podcast on Love is Blind.
This is going to be what your podcast is about.
Yeah, I love that.
Do you watch Love is Blind because you're like, I hope they find love? Or do you watch Love is Blind thinking like these people are crazy?
I think a little bit of both.
You're a much better person than me.
You're like, ha!
Yeah, exactly.
I'm married.
Yeah. Oh, you think you're gonna find love?
Yeah.
That's adorable.
It is. I find it interesting.
It's a cool concept.
Yeah, I have loved reality TV since like MTV The Real World. Like I was like, it was my dream to be on a reality TV show. Yeah. I was like, I'm aiming high, I'm going to be on Real World. But I love reality TV to begin with. And then I love most things that are dating. Not a huge Bachelor fan.
Okay.
Basically because it's just too long. But I love that Love is Blind is quick. They're like, I've talked to you for 2 hours, so like seems appropriate to propose, and I'm into that.
Okay.
I want to know what's happening.
So they're a little crazy. That's good.
Yeah, it's like, is this real? I don't know, but I'm invested.
Yeah.
I love it.
But they're so in love. Like it's not like they're like, yeah, I think I might like this person.
Yeah,
they're like,
it's wild.
I'm gonna have 14 kids with this person that I cannot see on the other side of this room. It's
pretty wild, and like, I mean, how far are you into it?
They're in Mexico.
Okay, so you've gotten
They're oh man. Yeah. I'm like maybe the second episode in. Oh, the one girl left the one guy.
Yes.
At night.
Yes. Shayna.
Yeah, so Shayna left.
Yeah.
And then the one guy is like, that girl doesn't love me anymore. I want to go home.
Yes.
That's where I'm ended.
I forget his name. Okay, you're far enough. But so that's what I was going to ask you is like, I found it interesting. The one guy, Jarrett, I believe his name is, proposes. A girl says no. So he proposes to another girl.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's the time
But she
lapse?
knew. But she knew. He told, the one thing I'll give him credit for is he said, like, hey, just so you know, I said I had feelings for this girl. This girl said no.
Like yesterday. But today's a new day.
But today, you're my girl. And she's like, all right, let's do this.
See, that kind of makes me sad because I want to be like, girl, you're better than that, you know?
Yeah, I'm standing up on the couch. I'm like, come on.
Yeah, she's cute, the girl he's with.
Yeah.
She's like...
She's my favorite.
Yeah,
she's so fun.
She's adorable. And I'm like, oh, she could pick up another guy at this resort, you know? Yeah. They look like they're in Tulum, like where everyone is.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, man. Yeah,
it's a great show, though. I love it.
So you just finished watching it?
I just finished it, but there's more episodes coming on Friday. Yeah.
How many episodes are there?
I think there's only like 5.
Okay, because
it feels like a journey, though.
Yeah, maybe we have 1 episode left then, because we binged hard last night.
Yeah, you don't. It sounds like you don't have far to go.
Okay.
And then we get to like pause for a couple days
to breathe, catch our breath,
marinate this information,
and then get ready,
and then find out what's gonna happen. Who do you think is gonna last?
Well, you might know more than me. I don't have confidence in any of them. The two. Yeah. Okay, so this is once again. I feel like you're a much better person than me, Courtney. But
I don't know about that.
So the first couple to propose.
Yes.
They're, to me, full on crazy. Like when I see them.
I'm trying to think of who was first.
He's the one that he makes his own toothpaste.
Weird. Yes.
I'm like, those people are crazy. They belong together. So I think they may last. But I also think something's going to happen.
I do too.
And implode in that relationship.
I think he's a little intense for me.
He's very intense.
Yeah.
And she's very sweet. I quite enjoy her.
Yeah. I get this kind of vibe from him that he's like, I'm a yogi and I meditate. So like, I know what's going on in the world kind of vibe. And I'm like, no.
And he drinks tea. Just so you know.
That's it.
That is it.
I knew something was off.
That's totally it. I don't have faith in Shane, and I don't know.
No. Oh my gosh. Shannon, my instructor, had me laughing so hard on Sunday because we were digesting everything we saw about Love is Blind. And I was like, what do you think of everything? And then she's like, oh yeah, Shane, the guy who's like, what are you wearing? Yeah. Like,
that's totally him.
And I laughed for so long. I got home later. I was laughing again. Because, that's literally all he is, like laying on the floor, like, wait. I was
just
like,
frat boy. I just think frat boy.
Like so gross. I was like, how is this guy picking up? So
I know, and she is like you could tell, like she is intelligent.
Yes.
You can tell she has her shit together.
Yeah, you're like, what are you doing, girl?
But I'll be honest, I want to see the episode where he meets the parents.
Yeah.
That's why I'm staying tuned.
Oh yeah, you're in now.
I'm in.
This is like a commitment. I love that you're watching it with your wife. My husband won't watch it.
It's so I get mad when I watch it though. I'm like, this is so stupid.
That's what he does too. But Jarek's like the person that like stands at the back and is like, I'm not watching this. I'm about to go outside and do some work. But then there's like 20 minutes there, opinions flowing.
Yeah. He's still sitting with his jacket on, like with one hand on the knob to go outside. Yeah.
It's like, well, that guy's an idiot. I was like, I thought you weren't watching it. You know.
Yeah. The one I can't get behind, and then sorry, we'll end this because I gotta respect your time. Is too hot to handle. I can't.
Yes.
I can't
watch it. I can't really watch it either. That one's a little too sketchy for me.
I think I'm just too old. That might be it too.
Actually, how old are you? I meant to ask.
I'm a year younger than you.
Oh my god.
I shouldn't have worded it like that.
Like, I'm so old. Oh.
As soon as the words came out of my mouth, like I should have just said my age.
I'm really old.
Well, I'm really old, but I'm still younger than you'll ever be.
You know what? It's all right. I spend a decent amount of money to keep this face fresh.
Yeah.
And I don't hide that, you know?
Yeah. So you're born in 87?
I'm 87, yeah.
I'm 88. I actually, to be honest though, I thought you were going to be in the 90s.
I love that.
I 100% thought I was older than you.
Oh, thank you.
So when you said 87, I kind of sat back like.
Yeah, you're like this old bitch.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, okay. I'll teach her how to use the technology. No.
So true. You're like, that's why she doesn't have TikTok.
I'm like, oh, it's coming together.
She's 87.
She's still on MySpace. That's what it is. No.
Actually, my ICQ number.
That's it.
Yeah. Oh man, it's true.
Yeah.
And everyone I work with is younger than me, which is new for me too. I was like, oh, I guess I'm more like the motherly figure, except I'm like technically the worst mother ever, if that was the scenario, you know?
Everyone calls me Papa Morgado.
Oh my God, I love that.
I'm like the oldest person that works here as well.
How are we the oldest people now, you know? People in their 40s are fucked then.
Exactly. Seriously.
I gotta like stay relevant enough, you know? Like that's just the goal.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's why I'm on TikTok.
Yeah, maybe, I want to get it, but
don't do it.
That might be the end of Lost Cycle.
I was going to say, you'll just be scrolling while you're on the bikes.
Yeah, just like not answering emails or anything.
Yeah, you got TikTok now.
Yeah, I love it.
You honestly, you have to come for a workout.
Yes. Tell me what I need to do.
Yeah, when we get off this, we'll figure out a time for you guys to come.
Yeah.
Even if you want to bring a few of your staff as well, you guys can come to a class.
I think we would all love to.
Yeah.
It'd be hard to get us, obviously all at the same time, but like, we could get a little crew.
Yeah, no,
come
absolutely.
on down. We're pretty obnoxious when we're in other spaces, just because if you're playing music, we're like, ooh, ooh, you know. So
yeah, we're big '90s hip hop fans here.
Oh,
so
huge fan.
That's gonna be what we
love
drive
that.
A lot of.
Love that.
Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule.
Thank you for having me.
Really appreciate
I want to come back. I love this.
Open invite.
Yeah.
Whenever you want to come.
Yeah.
You just come on by. We can talk about Love is Blind. There we go. That's our next episode. We're going to break down the second
character by character.
Yes. Awesome.
Oh my God, I love it. And place bets.
Ooh, yes.
On who's going to last.
Okay, that's it.
Does that mean? I feel like that's mean.
Do you know what? Once again, I'm a bad influence on you. That's what this is turning into.
It's our old nature.
That's it. Anyways, Courtney, once again, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye for now.